Soon as I get back to Canada, I bump into my ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend on Instagram. And he has a face tattoo. Yeah, I'm not gonna judge. Maybe he's a great guy. Maybe he got out on good behavior. I will say, her going from me to a guy with a face tattoo would be the equivalent of me going from her to a guy with a face tattoo. She had a lot of tattoos herself. They were all to remind her to do things. She had one that said, live in the moment, in case she was tempted to time travel. She had another one that said, breathe. She's a little forgetful. My new girlfriend, she's Indian, and we met at the perfect time, because in the States now, if you're a white guy, you can't have a white girlfriend, you know? Like, you can, but it looks like super racist. Her mom, my girlfriend's mom, doesn't approve of me because I didn't go to college, it's very frustrating, because I feel like if she got to know me, she'd realize that is the least of my problems. I didn't even almost go to college. I'm dyslexic. When I was a kid, I was in special ed. My mom would do all my homework, all my projects. They still put me in special ed. And my sweet mom, she'd always say, there's nothing to be ashamed about being in special ed. And I'm glad she felt that way, because technically, she was in it too. My girlfriend has an emotional support dog, which I have no experience with. Like, I remember the first time my girlfriend cried in front of me, just looking at the dog being like, "Do you got this?" I have no experience with pets. When I was a kid, I would ask for a pet, and my parents would say, "What will we do when we travel?" Right? Then, we never went anywhere. My friend was like, "Weren't you lonely without a dog?" I was like, "No, I was busy preparing for this voyage the whole time, man." Getting vaccinated. Last time I was home, just out of the blue, my mom's like, "We should have gotten you a dog." That always hurts. You're hanging out with your parents, they start brainstorming ways you could have been a better person, you know? Same trip, out of nowhere, my mom goes, "When we get old, I hope you don't put us in a home." And I was like, "Well, what will I do when I travel?" My parents have been to one of my stand-up shows ever, which that makes them sound unsupportive. They're very supportive. But to my brother, because he's a lawyer, they came to see me perform in New York City, and I was really nervous to perform in front of them. And right before I went on stage, Dave Chappelle walked into the comedy club. Now, when Chappelle walks into a club, people lose their mind. They cheer, they high five. Opposed to when I walk into the club, people play it cool. It's a respect thing. Chappelle walks in and decides he wants to go on immediately, right? So that means I have to follow Dave Chappelle, one of the greatest comedians on the planet, in front of my parents. I was sour. I was sitting there thinking, I hope someday my brother's got to follow Judge Judy. Chappelle's amazing on stage, man. He's so confident. He smokes. He's up there on the stage, killing the crowd with secondhand smoke. I'm just standing waiting to go on. He does an hour, 1 hour. At the end of the hour, Dave Chappelle stops and says to the crowd, "I should take you guys back to my hotel and have a party," right? He says that. Then, he did that. Yeah. He walked off stage. Everybody followed him out. Past me. I go backstage where like the comics hang out, and I sit down for like 2 seconds. And the manager runs in the room. She's like, "What are you doing?" There's 2 people left in the crowd. They want to see the rest of the show. You know who those 2 people were, right? Not my parents. They went to Chappelle's party. No, what? It was my folks, my parents. They just sat in the front row, you know? Now, I've performed for 2 people before, okay? I started comedy in Canada. But to perform in front of 2 people, you gotta riff, you gotta do crowd work. I can't do crowd work with my parents. I can't sit there and be like, so you guys got kids? My dad's like, 1, he's a lawyer. Thank you guys so much.